Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Abel, how you doing, buddy?
Great, great.
I'd like
Fantastic.
to welcome our guest, Mr. Cruz. How are you, sir?
Doing good yourself?
Good, great. Thank you so much for accepting our invite, and we can discuss some of this. I think it's good timing since the vice president finally made it out here to the border, allegedly, somewhere way up the border even. And then Miss Donald Trump is going to be here. I thought it was today. I guess it's next week. Do you have any word on that at all? When that might happen?
So, yeah, it'll be on the 30th. Yeah, it'll be on the 30th of this month.
Okay, gotcha. So, like many of us were saying, a lot of people have said, "Well, she's only there because she heard Donald Trump was going with Governor Abbott, and that's why she said, well, I better go ahead of him," even though she wasn't exactly in the proper location or where most people think the problem area is. So what exactly, let's say some hellos here for some people. Lori, how are you? Hungry Hippo, welcome to tonight. Nadia, hey Nadia, how you doing? Thanks for being here. Shonda, hey Shonda. Shonda's from Pennsylvania. They got a good senator over there, Doug Mastriano. He's a good guy. Everyone should have somebody like him. Hey, look who's there. Linda Lou. Hi, Linda Lou. Chuck, welcome. Rose, welcome as well. So what exactly, and I'll get to I'll keep going on the comments in just a little bit, guys. Snoopy, welcome. Glad you could be here. So what's your take on the Miss Vice President all of a sudden showing up at the border or deciding to come? Kind of a cheap last minute, too little, too late kind of a thing, or what's your take on her being here, Mr. Cruz?
I think she came just because Trump's going to be coming over. That's the reason why she had to beat him to the punch. But then again, she went to El Paso, where Mr. Beto O'Rourke is from, so that way she could be taken care of over there instead of getting the heat that she got last time she came down here to the valley.
Yeah, was there any sighting of Beto O'Rourke today when she was out there? Do you know if they met up at all? I don't think I didn't hear.
I have no idea. I didn't pay attention to. I didn't pay attention to what she did today, so I have no idea.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what is it? Do you do exactly? If you don't want to get into certain specifics with company names and that kind of thing or organizations, I understand. But we have seen you. I've seen you on some of the news, the mainstream news and videos, and you've been out there with some of the VIPs and politicians. What is it that you do exactly?
I do a few different things. One of them is private security. I pushed away from it a little, but I consult and help out different people, different companies, and guide them, see what needs to be done.
Okay, so you have been out there with the Border Patrol, and you have taken the VIPs out there, and you've witnessed all these things. You got a few some videos that you did send us, and we'll play some of that stuff. It bothers the crap out of me when people keep saying, and they still do, a certain side will say, well, there's no crisis, there's nothing going on at the border. I mean, but you've seen for yourself things really.
You wouldn't believe it unless you saw it. Some people say some of those videos were staged by CNN when they first went out there. I'll tell you that it wasn't, even though I hate CNN, but I'll tell you that it wasn't, because we took them out there. They didn't know where they were headed to. They didn't know nothing. All they knew is that they were going to go out to the river. So that's all they knew. We took them out there for a boat ride, and it just literally had like 100 people in line waiting to cross, get into rafts to come into the United States. So it's just a nonstop. It's a nonstop flow that's coming in.
So here's one of the videos that you did send us. Now, you took this yourself, is that correct?
Yes.
So I imagine that's some people on the raft there trying to either going that way to pick somebody up or coming back already. Do you remember what this was?
That one right there is a raft coming from Mexico to the United States. They dropped off the people and they went back to Mexico to load up again and come back. those rafts normally hold maybe about 6 people. Some of those rafts had maybe about 15 people on those rafts, and they're lucky they even made it across that river.
This is almost like a ferry service, that cross, from point A to point B.
Well, there's times where you'll see 2 or 3 rafts at a time, one after the other, just back and forth crossing and stuff. But right now, the hot area would be over here next to La Jolla. There's a park over there on Military that every day they're catching a bunch of people at a time there in that area. But they come across and they just flag down Border Patrol so they could pick them up and give them a free ride wherever they're headed to, because they know they're going to be released into the United States anyways.
So it's not like I'd say, I don't want to say back in the day, but before this caravan actually started the way it has at the moment, people would cross over and try to hide from the Border Patrol. They're trying to be found by the Border Patrol, correct? Basically, they'll go right into their truck and say, "Take me wherever."
Correct.
Take me.
There was also a month and a half ago where we were approached by a different boat out on the river. Basically, there were a bunch of there was about 7 armed men with automatic weapons that basically told us, "Look, we're going to cross a bunch of people right now. We want you to call Border Patrol because they don't feel like walking." So they know they're going to get across. They know they're going to come into the United States. So they're not trying to hide. They're just doing it right there in broad daylight, and they want to be caught. Now, my theory on that is they send those people like you're watching in that video. They send them across. Border Patrol goes and they hit that area. So they're utilizing their manpower and everything to take care of those people there that have kids and everything. But somewhere along the line, a little bit farther down, they're crossing the people that don't want to get caught, or the drugs that they want to get through and stuff. So that's just another diversion they're using, since they know that these people are going to get released anyway, but they're utilizing and tightening up all the Border Patrol's resources with these people here.
It's a decoy. I see.
Yeah, that was my thing. Was always, this has to be obviously the cartel's involved in this. They keep everybody busy on one end, and somewhere else that maybe right now you can't see is where they're trying to pass these bundles over and bring them over. How often does this go on? What we're looking at right now, is this like every day, all day long?
Well, it was supposed to be, according to the administration, when they took over in January, they had a 100-day non-deportation policy that they implemented. Trump's policies, which I understand what they're trying to do. You want to get rid of your prior administration. You're going to do something, have a plan, have a strategy. They all of a sudden they have all these people coming over here, and they didn't know what to do anymore. They didn't know how to stop them. They didn't know what to do. Period. And now what? Even the 100 days have already passed, and we still have the problem going on.
Yeah, and so. Is the policy right now pretty much the way what it was before, which was catch and release? Now, is that only for Mexican nationals, or I think was it the Mexican nationals that were being caught and released, or they're sent back?
Well, OTMs. It's for OTMs other than Mexico.
Yeah, your microphones are breaking up there, I think. Let's see how we're doing right there. Shauna says the administration isn't just a laughingstock to us within the country, but to the world. It's embarrassing. I know. I mean, if you had some of these people telling you to your face right now, there is no crisis, there's nothing going on over there, what would you say to somebody in your face right now telling you that there's nothing going on? What do you say to him or her?
What I've said to before, for example, to Channel 4, for example, was, you know what? If you don't believe that this is really happening, why don't you come and join me? I'll take you out to the river. I'm not going to charge you to go out there. I'll put you on the boat. We'll take a cruise, and we'll see what we see. There's a hit and miss. There's sometimes we'll see a huge amount of people. There's sometimes where we might not see anything. But I've invited people who don't think this is really happening.
And then they come out there with you and they see it. And then what's their reaction after that? I'll play a different video here in a second here. But what is their reaction once they're like, "Oh, really?"
Basically, that's done than anything. They don't know what to say after that.
Here, let me play another one. Tell us what we're looking at right here.
Manny, did we lose him off the screen, or did
Oh yeah, he's off the screen at all. Let's see if you'll give him a second to come back. So, you know, it bothers me that the vice president decided not to calm down where the real problem is. Instead, she just went to San Antonio, to El Paso, basically to an office. I think somebody called it like a DMV. There we go. You're back.
Lost you there.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to play this video right here. This one's not a long one. So basically, it looks like they just caught a bunch, and I mean, generally,
That was over here in La Jolla, the right across from the park on Military.
wow?
oh damn, yeah, that's not far at all. And I see a lot of little kids.
On those pictures there, they were taken probably an hour after. Yeah, and those pictures there, and that video feed there, we captured it about an hour after they had already detained the people. You had maybe about 10 different agents there, and then the bus had already, 2 or 3 buses had already come and pulled out a bunch of people and hauled them off. So we got there towards the end when we took that video.
Wow. So Betty says, so they see you filming, but they don't seem scared at all, or they don't react they just act like you're not there, and they just keep going back and forth. Is that what they do? I mean,
But
I don't know.
basically, they'll answer the question and stuff.
I mean, I was going to say it doesn't. I don't know.
Basically, they'll answer the questions.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, they know we're filming and stuff. Cause those 3 gentlemen that you see right there in front of the Border Patrol unit, they're all photographers and stuff. And they ask them questions that people answer. You know what? Where y'all coming from? How long have you all been traveling and stuff? Everybody answers differently when it comes to that. Some people say, you know what, we've been traveling for weeks. Some people have been saying we were traveling for months. So it just depends who you talk to and what they have to say.
Man, that's pretty incredible. And these kids, I mean, do any of these people come? You know, there's conspiracy theories that a lot of these people are forced by the cartel. Like some cartels are actually evacuating entire little towns.
We actually got to interview a guy that he gets contracted by the cartel to smuggle people. So he like the guy said, I don't actually work for them. They tell me what they need done. I provide a service for them, is what he says. And the guy that we interviewed and stuff basically says, you know what? They only bring certain people across. They only do certain stuff and whatever. But he wants there are other organizations that do the sex trade and stuff like that, or sell the people for whatever. But as far as this goes, what a lot of people that we talk to, a lot of these kids do not belong to those people. So we're looking at that group right there. A lot of those kids don't belong to those people that are there. They're because what was happening, anybody who had a kid in their arms when they crossed into the United States, they were going to get a free pass anyways. So a lot of those people that get the free passes are your females and your kids. And that's why a lot of the males will be carrying those kids across and stuff. That way they could get in because, hey, they have a kid with them. And along the line, when you start questioning them, who knows who that kid really belongs to?
Right. They're just using them as a free pass.
Yep.
Wow. So the rule still applies, if I'm not mistaken. The what do they call it? The anchor baby rule. Is that still going on, or did President Trump kill that back when he was? I can't remember.
On that one, I can't answer. I have no idea. I remember what they were talking about and stuff, but I have no idea what it came about.
Yeah, the anchor baby term being the rule, being the policy that if a pregnant woman, is on the United States soil and she has a child, automatically that child is granted citizenship and becomes a U.S. citizen. The mother doesn't, but they allow her a path.
But the child does.
Right, but the child does automatically, and that makes it easier for the mother. But the disturbing
thing
go ahead.
A large amount of those females that are crossing are pregnant. And what I mean, a large amount, because we were in McAllen, right in front of the bus station where they were doing the COVID testing. We were monitoring the people that are coming off the buses into the COVID testing area. And I would say at least 90% of those women that got off those buses into the COVID area, they were all pregnant.
I remember seeing that video. There was a lot. I don't know how many it was. I lost count after 20 or 25, but there was a lot. And most of them did look pregnant. So when they're being shipped out, okay. So in Brownsville anyway, a lot of these young people, including girls, females that are pregnant, a lot of them, they are young. They're being escorted and flown all over the country to different locations. I think the organization is Southwest Key is one of them. I don't know if there's more than one. And
the other one's a Catholic charity here in McAllen.
The ones that were helping out those females that were in that video that you did back then, or somebody took the video back then.
Yes.
So are they connecting with anybody in particular? Do all those people really have family here, or are they just finding like a sponsor family or something like that?
Actually, both right there. And the reason why I tell you that, I didn't have the chance to put somebody, but we're working on putting somebody to go in there with a hidden mic and camera and everything. Basically, we talked to one girl. She told the female that we sent in that she was going to California, that she had family in California. So the girl that we sent in asked her, well, have you talked to your family? Are you sure it's your family? She went, no, but the Catholic charity found these people for me. It's my family over there. So she never got to talk to them. She didn't, as far as she knows, she didn't have family in California. And she didn't know where she was going. They gave her an address. She was going to get on a plane and she was going to get flown over there. But she didn't know nothing. But there's more to that story. There's that other lady, the same lady that we sent in to go talk to these people. She was talking to one of the nuns or one of the people that work there at the charity. And there's more to the story as far as there's something wrong going on. I won't throw up allegation in because I don't got proof on it except for what that person told me. And I believe what the person told me because they've been a deputy for 17 years in the county. I know the person. I trust them. And she went in there and she got to speak to different people and stuff. And there's more to the story that's going on. It's just a matter of proving it before we could throw out anything. I know Alex Jones and his people pushed the issue and everything, and then they did what they were supposed to, but everything went silent again. So we're back to square one where nothing's being broadcast anywhere about the issue going on the border.
So I have a question that I saw here earlier. Somebody posted that this has always been going on. I personally haven't been out in the border the way you have. So I don't know how long this has been going on for, but I would believe that this is...
Well, it's true.
I'm sorry, I was saying I believe that
that comment they made is true. It's been going on. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm saying...
this one there.
Yeah, so I believe that it probably has been going on, but do you believe that it's just a larger scale now?
Well, Chuck is right. It's been going on for years. You're talking about 20 years or whatever or more. It's been going on. But since we basically give an open door to everybody, that's where you got the flow coming in that's tremendous. And yes, it happened 4 years ago or whatever, but Trump put a stop to it, and then he put where they would hold him in Mexico and whatever they were going to do, and the new administration took away all that stuff. So has it been going on for years? The answer is yes. But this amount of people, if you look back for the amount of people they've detained since January to now, the answer is going to be no. The numbers are huge. And
it is a whole different aspect from the country's leaders. They have no idea what's going on there. They'll probably never even see these videos. They're too busy signing away other papers and things like that. So it definitely is something that I could see that needs to be broadcasted, needs to be pushed out there. Because like I mentioned to Manny earlier, it's like the president, he pushed down this duty on Kamala. That's like being a manager at Walmart and you close at a certain time. And, one of the cart pushers tells you, hey, man, there's people sneaking in at night. And, he's like, no, they can't be. We have a strong security guard that's sleeping on the other end. Right. So the main manager has no idea what's really going on. And I believe that's kind of the situation that we're in right now. It's not that they don't realize what's going on. They just want to give that blind eye. I don't understand why, but I think that's kind of what's happening at the moment.
Well, I'm thinking at the end of the day, what's going to happen, they're going to give amnesty to everybody and everybody's going to swing a certain way. That's what I'm thinking. But at the end of the day, this is not a Republican problem or a Democrat problem or a Valley problem or a Texas problem. This is a nation problem because these people are not staying here in Texas or here in the Valley. They're getting shipped all over the United States. And remember, in this country, without a Social Security, you can't work legally anywhere. So how do you support yourself if you're getting shipped all over the United States? Yes, you might go with family. But there's only so long you're going to be able to be with family, or they're going to be able to maintain you and support you. Because eventually you're going to have to get your butt moving and get a job and do something somewhere for income.
Definitely.
Yeah, unless they're going to give them some kind of permit or a way to work. Because right now this is mostly a problem for all the communities along the border. I mean, it puts a toll on our healthcare, on our school system, and I mean, you name it. And you're right. Once that starts becoming a problem with the rest of the country, then they're going to go, okay, wait a minute, where's all these people coming from? And then all of a sudden, maybe then they'll get, like they say, woke, to the situation. So you've been to the border wall. I know that the candidate, congressional candidate Myra Flores, I think you did a tour with them. Is that correct? That was a few months ago already, where you took a few people and toured the.
I haven't got.
Right.
No, I haven't gone out with Myra and stuff, but I have gone out with other people and other news medias and everybody else.
Earlier you mentioned that, one of these rafts, there was armed men on there. And basically at that point, it's not only are they bringing people across. I mean, you can honestly say at one point a citizen is feeling threatened, just taking a little boat ride and recording. Maybe you didn't feel threatened because you look like a guy who wouldn't feel threatened. But to a normal citizen, that's threatening, for somebody to show up with a couple of AKs or something, right?
Basically, every time we've gone out there and these people are doing their stuff, we let them know that, hey, we are not cops. They can do whatever the heck they want, and we're just there to film and do some video and stuff, and that's it. We're not going to interfere with their business or whatever they're doing at any time. So we just let them know we're not a threat to them.
Yeah. So have you toured areas that have more of that border wall? I mean, does that wall that President Donald Trump was having built, in your opinion, was that effective?
That wall, everybody thinks, the wall's there to stop the people from coming across. The wall is not designed to stop anybody. That wall is there to slow people down, because if the wall covers a certain section, because there's gas in it right now. So if it covers a certain section, say that the wall stretches 3 miles, and then there's a gap on each end. Well, that's 3 miles there that you don't have to have so many border patrol agents stationed there. They'll be over there where the gaps are at. Now, once the people cross the river, the sensors go off on the ground, and they alert, so many people cross a certain area. Now they'll head to that area, and they'll catch them once they cross the wall. There's some areas of the wall where it's maybe a few yards. The wall's built a few yards off the river, and it might be half a mile off the river in some areas. So the wall does vary from where it's built. But like I said, at the end of the day, that wall's just another tool. It's like the sensors, the drones that they use, the helicopters, the horseback, the vehicles, the ATVs. It's just another tool used to help out Border Patrol do their job.
In a sense, it's like I picture it as a filter. It kind of filters everything into one area instead of having to patrol the whole border. Now we have a little bit of kind of a stop to it, or a filter, right?
Yeah, so it's like a deterrent, like we've been saying before.
But in this point, even the deterrent doesn't matter, because everybody here is getting a free pass. So regardless of where the wall is, they're not even getting to the wall no more. Right?
A Hungry Hippo says, yeah, it was a joke to her in the first place. She's referring to Kamala Harris. I believe she came out into Texas just because of pressure from the media, like the one from our post. Yeah, Brooks County. Have you been to Brooks County?
I just passed through there a little while ago.
What's going on? She said, ask them about Brooks County. What's going on in Brooks County? More of the same?
Well, Brooks County, basically, they've had a problem for a long time. Number one, they don't have many sheriff deputies over there to start with. So they're way understaffed. And then for the amount of people they're finding out in the ranches and stuff, they don't have the resources to do anything. Basically, Brooks County needs a lot of help. Like, it's not their fault. It's just they don't have the resources, deputies, money, units, equipment. There's an organization set up called Border Brotherhood or something, which they collect money to buy these people from Brooks County vests and body cameras and other equipment they might need to be out there and stuff. So Brooks County is just way undermanned, they just don't have the resources for the amount of people that are going through these ranches.
Yeah. I've seen some video footage before, not any of yours, I don't think, but a lot of the people crossing over have either, they start to throw rocks and things, trying to keep the people that are watching them at bay, or sometimes some crews have even have taken shots, from gunfire. Have you ever confronted any aggressive behavior like that at all since you've been out there at all?
We had some rocks thrown at us there on the river and stuff, but that's about it.
Why do these politicians come to the border, but not even the parts that have the action going on? They need to see all the border and go out for days to see what really happened. Yeah, I mean, the point of her coming over and staying for a half an hour and then going up to where she did, what's the point of that? I don't see any point of that at all, other than PR, and it's under her.
That's just a photo op. That's all it is. That's all she's doing is a photo op. There's this ranch right there that's in Brooks County out there in that area called Jones Ranch. Jones Ranch has almost 400,000 acres. It's the fourth largest ranch here in Texas. Right now, they have a major problem with illegal aliens going through their property. People found dead and stuff. This was text message to me last night. I want to see what I could do to get some attention drawn to that ranch.
Yeah, has that guy been on the news before, the ranch that you're talking about? Because there was one rancher out there somewhere that's saying he finds bodies frequently, once a week, once every couple of weeks, he's finding bodies there. And I wonder if that's the same ranch that we're talking about. That guy has been on TV.
I have no idea. It happens to all those ranches out there. So,
I mean, what I don't understand is how people like us can see the problem, but there's big politicians who say there is no problem whatsoever, right? But obviously there is a problem. I mean, we're addressing it. and it's not hard to tell, right? Like I come from Mexican descent, right, or Hispanic descent, right? And if it's a problem to the point where we're all on here right now talking about it, it's more than just an immigration problem. People are being led by, oh, it's an immigration problem, and they think, oh, that could be my cousin, that could be, but that's not what the problem is. The problem is that in this whole group, like, as you mentioned earlier, some kids are coming on with families who are not even their families. Who knows where they're going to end up? Not every one of them, but if there's one or two, I mean, that's on us if we're allowing it to happen. Now, number two, it also is that, how many drugs are being crossed, like we mentioned earlier, as a decoy. Okay, call the immigration so they can all rush over here so they can catch these 100 people while we cross 100 kilos on the north end or whatever, right? So it's just it's really, whoever's not seeing this right now, they're choosing to be blinded to it, or they're being blinded by the mainstream, and that is just, it's a crazy thing.
Yeah.
See, one question I had the other.
Good.
Go ahead. One question I had the other day is, okay, these people know they're going to be released and stuff. Why go through the river? Why pay some cartel member on the other side to bring them across? Why don't you just walk to the international bridge and say, here I am, and let them go through the process?
Yeah, that's definitely a valid point. I think Hungry Hippo says there was a video. This is the video that you're referring to, I'm pretty sure, with Sister Pimentel housing the pregnant women and moving them at night, a large group of them. I think that's pretty sure that's the video. Chuck, the rail foundations of the border wall are already in place. It is visible if you drive around here in Mission. Eventually, Untitled Park will be closed permanently. So Governor Abbott said, yes, we're going to continue to build the wall. Hopefully that will get started. There is some criticism, saying that money could be used elsewhere right now at first. But you definitely see that as a deterrent, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm all for the border wall and everything. The only thing is, when it comes to Abbott wanting to build a border wall, Abbott has to remember, this is a federal issue, and I understand it becomes a state issue because they're coming into Texas, but the most the state agencies could do is detain them, turn them over to immigration or border patrol, and let them do the rest of the process from there. That's just why Abbott wants to do where, they're going to charge them with trespassing. Well, trespassing is a Class C misdemeanor. I don't know how he's going to up it to something higher. Class C misdemeanor is a fine up to $500 and thrown in jail for a few days. And then what happens? You're going to turn them over to border patrol, and then are they going to deport them or are they going to release them again? So what's the point of housing these people and tying up the system, tying up more money and everything, and just kidding the taxpayers and the state of Texas by doing this? Because that's a Class C misdemeanor for trespassing. Normally, if I get caught trespassing, normally they'll give me a ticket. They won't send me to jail because that's just the way the system's set up. Like it's stuck on the hand. A Class C misdemeanor is also a traffic ticket. So that's the way trespassing is set up now. I don't know how Abbott's going to do it to make it something stiffer penalty on it or whatever. But I said, even if they do, they're still going to get released at the end of the day once they spend a week or two in jail or whatever time they're going to be put in jail.
Yeah, there is no easy solution to this, and it doesn't help with the current administration, the way they've been handling it and basically inviting everybody to come. Now they're trying to say don't come, but
I mean, and a lot of people give Trump a lot of flack for that. No, the border wall. I mean, the border wall wasn't it initiated during Obama time here in Brownsville?
Clinton, wasn't it?
The border wall. Yeah, that started Bush or Clinton is where it really started.
Clinton.
It's been for a reason, man. So all this time that has been effort, money that has been wasted on it to just say, just do, open it up. Next thing you know, they're going to want to knock the whole wall down, And at one point, the wall...
That was rumor. The rumor was that the administration because they had put a stop to building it.
Right.
I spoke to one of the contractors. He said, I could care less whether we build it or not. I've already been paid. All the materials that are sitting there have already been paid for. I've already been paid to build that wall ahead of time. So if we don't build it, we've still been paid. But now the rumor was, and this came from one of the contractors, said, you know what? We're hearing they might want us to cut it down to 5 feet high with this new administration. But that's been up in Denver for a while, and we haven't heard anything about that the last 2 months.
That's crazy. Yes, only now human smuggling, human trafficking has gotten worse. Absolutely. Nadia is asking, tell us about your day with, you were out there with Alex Jones. That dude's a character.
Yeah, I was out there with him and screwing everybody for a few days.
Yeah,
it was good. We went out there. They push things to the limit, and I love it. they don't care at the end of the day. I guess they got their money, their attorneys, or whatever, and they push things to the limit. So it was an experience. I've always seen the guy on TV, but now to actually experience what this guy does. But you know what? He's a very humble guy, real down to earth. We went to dinner at Longhorns and stuff, and the guy's just like me and you. We just had a conversation and jokes around and talked about other things, and he's a real good guy.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. It's good that people are coming down to see it, and it just needs to get exposed more. It really does. And it's funny when you argue with people on Twitter or over social media, and they call you racist, but they don't see that a lot of people that are having a problem with this issue are Hispanic. They are Mexican. They are Mexican Americans, and they have a problem with the situation that's going on. It's not that we're racist. It's
It's like me when they told me I hear a little feedback here and there when I'm racist and this and this against my own people. I tell them, look, at the end of the day, OTM. Anybody who's OTM other than Mexicans can cross that bridge or cross that river and be allowed into the United States. So you know what? My people, if that's the case, my people are being shipped back to Mexico because they're not allowed over here for whatever reason. But if you're from Honduras or somewhere in South America, they're inviting you into this country. So how am I being racist if my own people are getting thrown back anyway?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it.
I mean, and most people don't know that. They'll go and they'll throw all these words at you, but they don't know that other than Mexicans, right?
Yeah.
Chuck says. Chuck says they can work. I know of people that work for jobs that supply the U.S. military, and they get paid great money even without Social Security numbers or papers. Yeah, I don't know how that happens, but
I mean,
I would say that, but it does happen. There's a bunch of people work.
I would say what percentage of what's coming over is actually going to get a job for the military. That's a small percent. What percent of that is going to end up on the streets? What percent of that is going to end up going into your house and stealing? What percent of it is going to end up in a criminal activity? What percent of them is just going to end up in jail or just on welfare and or just driving a party in the future that's just trying to gather votes? This is almost a voting harvesting if you're really thinking about it, because guess who's going to be voting for the same administration for the next 20 years when history has changed and literature has changed on the books, and they're saying, look what this president did for us. Look what this guy did for us. So we stay on the same party.
Exactly. There's so loyalty to, hey, well, Biden allowed me into the country. He gave me amnesty. He allowed me to become an American citizen. So they're going to be loyal to their party.
Yeah, man, it's just so wrong on so many levels. What was this video? I know there was a helicopter involved. Was there anything that went on with this one?
You got to mix. The Mexico helicopter, for some reason, comes into the United States side and stays on the United States side for a while, then goes back into Mexico. As far as I know, they can't be flying on our airspace and staying on the United States side, but they do.
Yeah, I have seen. I thought Border Patrol was flying over my house. I'm not far from the border in Brownsville, not far from UTB, or what used to be UTB. And I've seen helicopters before that were not U.S. And I'm like, what the heck are they doing on this side? So I don't know. I mean, you're hoping they're have good intentions and patrolling, right?
Not just dropping a few bundles.
Yeah, not dropping bundles here or there. Let's see. Chuck Nelson, Sean, they pay taxes with their money taken out of their check. But how can they pay taxes if they don't have a social security number? How does that work? I don't understand how that works.
Could that be one of those I-10 numbers, but you still have to get a permit?
Yeah, exactly. They're starting to get the 10 numbers.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to get government help. There is a law where companies will get fined if they employ undocumented workers. But okay, yes, that I get. And anybody can get a TIN number. Anybody can get one. You get one for your business. Chuck Nelson, where do the taxes go if they have no social security number? Employers' pockets, probably. El Paso has more activity than Brownsville. Have you come down? Have you been down here in the lower valley? Have you been touring the entire border from here to where, or where have you spent most of your time that you've visited?
On who? On me?
Yes, sir.
Well, basically, no. I just stay down here on the South Texas border. Basically, from Los Sevenos to the Hidalgo, the other side of the Hidalgo Bridge.
So even if we're talking about El Paso having more activity, I mean, that's still part of the country. So, I mean, if the activity is worse in El Paso than it is in Brownsville, then you can only imagine when it totals up to the country. It's a disaster. I mean, I have friends that are in Guatemala. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
At the end of the day, I'll give you an example. Around 5:30 in the morning, over here at the Hidalgo Port of Entry, these people jump the wall right there, right next to the bridge. They don't care if customs is right there or border patrol is right there. At around 5:30 in the morning, every morning, they'll come and they'll throw those ladders against the wall. They'll hop the wall, and there you have border patrol chasing everybody around in the plaza right there, and those parking lots right there next to Waterburg and stuff, right where the Hidalgo Port of Entry is at. So they're doing it right there in front of Border Patrol, right in front of the bridge. They don't care what they're doing right now. They want to get caught at the end of the day.
Right.
And the Border Patrol can't get all of them, so a small percentage gets caught, but then the rest are in, right?
Even then, the ones that are getting away,
exactly.
The ones that are getting away know what's about to happen. They know, hey, I'll throw 50 guys that way and get the Border Patrol's attention, and I'll run the other way.
Most of the people are from Central America, not necessarily from Mexico. Has that been your experience from what you've experienced? A lot from South America, not necessarily everybody from Mexico.
Exactly. The majority of those people that we talk to or that get detained in large numbers, they're all from South America. The majority are from Honduras and stuff. But like I said, there's very few. Well, actually, up to now, I've maybe seen about 5 that were from Mexico itself. And one that, like we said, they throw these groups to a certain area so they could go after them. And then the ones that they don't want, the Mexicans and the Russians and Chinese people, who they don't want to get caught, will go through another area, because they are catching very few Chinese people and stuff, but they are catching them. So, like I said, they're getting maneuvered different ways while the Border Patrol is being tied up in other areas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier, I have a few friends that are in Central America, and these guys, they won't leave. They're saying that everything that is being broadcasted is all propaganda. They're good where they're at. They're not going to leave their family's side. They're like, why am I going to make my children go and cross a river? Why are we going to walk from here to Mexico? Like, why am I going to put my family through that when I can just earn a living here and everything's good? It's gotten so bad that, according to my friend out there, and I did some research on it, the president in El Salvador is actually doing the whole Bitcoin thing where they're using it as accepting it as cash, and they're inviting people to go there and invest money in Bitcoin and giving them citizenship, because they're losing people, and they're trying to spice up their own government and become a better government to keep people, retain their people rather than losing them to these caravans that are going on. So again, they all say it's a lot of propaganda. They wouldn't leave their families. They wouldn't make their kids swim on their shoulders across the river because they love their children. So everything is going on. I don't understand. I cannot understand why a parent would do that.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, are these kids being forcefully removed from certain families and being used as pawns, or are the families being paid and say, yes, here's my kid, go ahead and, do what you got to do, which is sad. Mr. Cruz, how long have you been on the border experiencing all of this?
We started shortly after the Biden administration took over. Matter of fact, I've already stopped though, unless somebody tells me, hey, Cruz, you know what? Can you take somebody out there to show them around or whatever? Then we will.
Yeah.
It becomes very costly. That's why. Put a stop to it for now.
Well, I imagine you can make a business out of it. Make tours, paid tours. I don't know if that's something that they would let you do.
You can, and we I'm not gonna say charge, but we did get 2 thank yous from 2 different organizations. But like we didn't charge anybody anything for taking them out there. It was our boat, our gas, and everything, and our time and everything. But like I said, you know what? It was more to prove a point that we do got a problem going on here, and it needs to get addressed. That's the reason why we did it. But I said we did have 2 organizations. One of them was Alex Jones. He went ahead and said, you know what? Thank you for helping us out. Thank you for doing this, and here you go. So I said we did have 2 different groups that did get something back.
Chuck says the current administration, the last administration didn't do anything different. Yeah, I beg to differ on that one, Chuck. We'll have this discussion after this show. People blaming the current administration. I mean, what is wrong with that? I mean, when you're inviting people over, that's how they opened up. That's how they started their administration.
Definitely. If you
exactly
compare
what I said a little while ago, also, Chuck. Go ahead.
No, it's okay, Mr. Rubble. Go ahead. I'll go after you.
Basically, like what I said earlier, at the end of the day, I understand what the current administration was trying to do. They come in, they want to make their little policies and turn around what the Trump's policies were and all that stuff. Great. You should go ahead and do whatever you want to do. The new administration is the new administration. The president is the new president. And he wanted to show, let me flex my muscle, and this is what I could do to throw Trump out of the way. But you know what? Have a game plan. Know what you're going to do. If you want to take it away, great, take it away. But have a plan of what you're going to do so we don't have the current problem that we're having now. You're taking away what Trump implemented was they're going to stay in Mexico until they get processed, and if they get asylum, then they'll come to the United States. Not coming to the United States, get lost in the system, and never show up for your asylum hearing. That's what's going to happen now.
Yeah, even the president of Mexico was okay with the remain in Mexico policy. Fine, apply for your asylum, follow the proper channels. Okay, now you wait in Mexico until your turn comes up for your interview. Now, the way it is now, yeah, come on in. Okay, we'll send you a notice, or you contact us, and then in 3 years, come back and we'll talk to you. Do you think people are going to come back? I mean, maybe a small percentage will, but how many people are actually going to come back and go, oh yeah, let me come back and risk getting deported?
Not many, for the simple reason they're going to get deported, because for them to meet the qualifications to become an asylum seeker is going to be very difficult for them to prove. So they're not going to take the chance of coming back to court and then getting deported once they come back to court.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the problem, and how they're saying, why would you blame the current administration? We're going to say we had the same wall with a previous administration. We had the same wall before that administration as well. But the problem didn't exist where there was so many people crossing. So it was the same halt that was being put up. So is it the administration? Definitely, because now there's a free path to it. My other point to it is that at one point, people have to stop saying, people are seeing this and they're saying, it's a racist thing. It's not a racist thing. This is a humanitarian thing. because a real human is thinking about, what's going to happen to these families when they come here. What's happening to the little kids who are not with their parents and are being brought across with fake parents? What's going to happen to them? And how can we consciously just allow it to happen? Like, it doesn't make sense to me how they keep saying it's a racial thing. It's not a racist thing. It's a human thing. And if people want to keep allowing this, like I said, I have buddies in Central America who are very happy with living the way they're living with their families. But if you're okay with kids drowning in the river, if you're okay with people being, kept in Mexico, being forced to work with the cartels, women, being raped and then sent across, little kids being sent to different families, kids being split, then that is not a racist thing. That's a whole human thing that you need to start opening your eyes to and believing in. It's not a skin color thing. They're the same color as me, right? People are chasing an opportunity, but at this point, they're being lied to at one point. The risk is way too big.
The whole narrative needs to change. Plus, people down there south of the border are being told all kinds of things by the cartel, by the coyotes. Yeah, they'll take you, they'll catch you, but then they'll release you. Yes, you can go. And these are people who don't have access to cable TV or the news every day, so they really don't know what's going on. All they hear is, "Oh, yeah, they'll take us, and we can go, and we'll get in." And the whole narrative has to change. Let's see. What are those red or green lights flying at night? Those are probably helicopters or drones, if I'm not mistaken. Any idea what you might be asking about, Mr. Cruz?
In what area? In what area?
Yeah, Betty Rubble Pulp. Probably here in Brownsville. If there's I'm assuming some kind of aircraft, whether it's a drone or a helicopter. Obviously, a helicopter is louder; it's easier to identify. But drones could be a lot quieter. And I don't know if drones would have lights on them necessarily.
Yeah, they have the fixing lights anyways.
Okay, so it's some kind of surveillance aircraft. Chuck's got family in Southmost. I'm looking to buy property south of there, about a block from a 20-foot fence. Why do you want to buy a property in Southmost from a 20 feet away from the fence, from the wall? No, the president of Mexico didn't want them. They weren't Mexicans. Yeah, and that might be the case, but he agreed to that policy. Kind of, I don't know. You might say Trump strong-armed him into.
Yeah, he agreed to hold them there.
Yeah, correct. And
so the president in Mexico doesn't want other people that are not Mexican. Wow.
Well, I mean, you're asking.
That's a good leader.
You're asking somebody to, you're asking someone to take people from another country and populate your own country and add more. That's what's happening here.
That's what's happening here, right? Like, wow. I always thought,
what's happening when these people go. What's happening when these people come from South America to the border? That whole trip that they're crossing through Mexico, they're destroying people's properties. People, they're leaving trash behind. They're vandalizing different places. So they're destroying Mexico through their trip from Honduras to the border, and that's another thing that the Mexican president's pissed off about.
Yeah. This is true.
I would be too.
I don't know. I think Trump, being who he is, was able to pull that off and, strongly suggest to the president of Mexico to go along with this. Like only Trump can do, in my opinion. I don't think Biden is, or anyone from his party is strong enough to do this kind of negotiation and pull something like that off. And you know what? It was working.
Unless he's going to write an unlimited check to somebody, like he's done to every other country, sending billions of dollars, and for what?
Yeah.
Hey, I can see Chuck's point of view now, man. I was a little bit blinded earlier, when he mentioned that they're blaming the current administration on this. So maybe it's not an administration thing, right? But I mean, what are we to do? If there is a problem, definitely there is an issue, right? How is this issue going to be solved? I mean, does Texas have to come in and start their own thing the way that the governor is? When it's actually going to affect the whole country. It's not only going to affect the valley. The valley might not even ever be affected because this is just a gateway to where they're going. The only thing they're doing is tying up the border patrol, the customs. They're tying that up, and the gateway remains open.
I would like to see that data, and of those that do get come through or are allowed to come through. What percentage of them stay? What percentage of them keep moving north? That would be interesting. Chuck, people who were not Mexican nationals were kept in Mexico. Mexico took responsibility for allowing the people from other countries to get to the border in the first place. Not now. Yes, because that agreement was kind of smashed. No able when they get here, they go to work.
Hey, can you put down, go back through comments? Chuck had one there. He said that one right here.
I'm not a religious. Oh, sorry, I thought I read that. I'm not a religious person, but I donated money to a group to make sure those people had clean water to drink in Matamoros and other border cities.
And that's a human thing, right? And we're going to have to keep donating,
I mean, it costs money. I mean, we can't just turn your back. The people that come over to have COVID or have other diseases, guess what? We have to treat them. We have no choice. And that's why I mean that it becomes a burden on our healthcare system. I mean, it's already burdened enough with COVID and our own citizens who are dealing with COVID. Then we have COVID for those who do have COVID. And now you have an influx of, we'll call them immigrants. And now they need hospitalization. They need treatment. They need medication. And where's that money coming from?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the current administration is running a country. They're not running a Goodwill. They're not running a thrift store. They're running a country, right? And they're doing what is going to be the best for the country for not only their 4-year term, but 20, 30 years down the line.
Yeah. Manny, the colored lights are out by Southmost. I live by the airport and see them all over at night. Can't hear anything because my area is noisy anyway. If they're not real loud, it could be drones. Unless they're flying high enough, they could be helicopters. Surveillance, I'm sure, of some type. Nor the criminals, not the children who may have been kidnapped so people could cross, not potential terrorists. Which are which? Yeah, it's hard to tell anything. Forgive my typos. I'm on a modified neighborhood watch, so I'm typing while I walk. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you see this getting any better at all, Raul? Do you see this getting any better? What do you see happening?
What's the thing? As far as I know, everything's still the same. The only thing is that they were, to move the process quicker, they weren't doing their 3-day. They would detain them for 3 days before they ship them out so they're able to do their backgrounds and all that stuff. They were waiving that stuff just to allow them to the country. But the only thing is, when you do that, now you really don't know who's coming to the country. If you're in 3 days, like I said, you're doing their little quick background checks and all that stuff, but you're not doing something thorough. I said, and then now you want to waive the little background check that you're doing, just throw them into the country so they don't have the back clutter that they have now. According to the current administration, the Donna facility is empty. I have not been over there, but there's no way in hell that place is going to be empty. That thing just multiplies and keeps on multiplying in size. That way you should be able to house all the people that are going through there.
Wow.
Hey. Yeah, obviously things are probably going to get worse before they get better. Worried about having COVID from that, 50% of the Americans won't get vaccinated. Yeah, I'm worried. I don't know. I'm not one that's
worried about COVID.
COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, he disappeared for a second.
Yeah,
Rose,
like
we'll come back. That's fine.
If we're only looking at COVID, and Chuck, I see your point of view always, and I would hope you would see mine. My point of view is that it's not about COVID. It's not about being white, brown, black, yellow, red. It's not about any of that. It's about what these people are going through and this is to my eyes, right? How many people have already drowned that we don't even know about? How many people have disappeared in Mexico that we will never know about? How many people are going to be slaved in America, in the land of the free, in the greatest country in the world, are going to be slaves and raised as slaves and be raped every day as many times as they need to be raped, right? Because this is an actual issue. This is not made up stuff. You can look it up and do some research. It's really real. How many more of these kids have to go through this because people don't want to set their foot down on it? There is a real issue, and it's not an issue. Again, it's not a race issue. It's beyond an immigration issue. It's about how we can help and not let these things happen. You know, this is for these kids that are coming in right now. I don't know the percentage, but I can guarantee you a few of them are already out there somewhere living a worse life than they were in their country previously.
Yeah, you know, and I would hate to think that. I would think even in the worst conditions, I don't know. I'm thinking even in the worst conditions here for some people, it's still better than what they were dealing with over there.
I mean, some of us are at the bottom of the totem pole here in the country, and we're okay, right? Some people in other countries are at the bottom of the totem pole, and they decide to write it out. You know, they'll eat cactus all day and beans and tortillas. It's a happy thing. You know, you have a roof over your head, you have your family. Like I said, me personally, if they said, hey, Canada's opening up borders and they're going to give you, you know, a free salary for the remainder of your life, you know, I wouldn't risk crossing a river with my kids on my shoulders. I can't. I love my family, you know, and just the way my buddies and friends are, they wouldn't risk it. They wouldn't risk it either. So from my point of view, Mr. Chuck, it's not a administration problem. It's a human thing that's happening, and it's going to be happening. And, you know, people are being pushed more towards the idea of, oh, it's because of Trump, you know, oh, he's a Trump supporter or he's a Biden supporter, but it's not that, you know, it's all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. Yeah,
I want to thank Mr. Cruz. I think we lost him for the evening. The internet connection was a little funky. Thank you to everyone for participating. Just a conversation we're having. I did want to get a little more into it, and we'll have other guests to keep this going at a later date. COVID, we can talk about COVID in a minute. I've had many illegals in my backyard, and I'm a few miles from the border. At a ranch we rented, they would hide out, and they're waiting to be picked up and then taken to a safe place like a Ozanam home or something. Yeah, I heard a lot of that too. Sean, how many children have already died in the desert?
And we'll never actually know. Some of these kids will never be found.
That's right. We hear about the one here and there, or you hear about the one dropped over a fence, the ones abandoned that do, you know, they make the news here and there, but how many more didn't make the news? How many more didn't even make it? You know,
do you remember a while back that picture that went viral with that guy that was crossing with his daughter, and he had put her like inside his shirt, so they were both sticking their heads out on the same shirt, and they were swimming, you know, the dad and the daughter, and they drowned. So when they found them, the daughter was still like inside his shirt. I mean, that's a sad story. I can't support that. You know. Hey, Raul, you're back.
Yeah, we're just going through some of the comments. You guys made a show about the current administration. For me, it is. In reality, the immigration process has been messed up for years, for decades. You know, it's a problem when it takes 20 years for somebody to get cleared for asylum. It's a problem. So, you know, it's not just this administration. It's the whole process that needs a revamp. And, you know, instead of people waiting 10 or 20 years, I don't know. Would it help to have a quicker process necessarily? Is that going to fix things necessarily?
You know what would fix things is all these people. I hate to just like point people out this way, but everybody who's in support of, okay, come over and, you know, go through all the process, like just come over here and just chill in our country. You know, those people should go to the other countries and see what the issues are over there and maybe try to protest over there and see if they'll rise to the occasion. I don't think it's an administration thing. It's a human thing. And if people are not seeing the human thing, whoa.
Yeah, I bet Rubble. A friend's husband lost his life.
It's climate control is a problem.
Yeah, that's so ridiculous. I can't. I don't know where that came from. Where they came up with that? It's just unbelievable. The climate.
But let's take care of climate control. We'll take care of
Right?
The valley's hot enough, so shit, where do we go?
There's so many good documentaries about this problem. The best one is something about the train, but it has a Spanish name. I think I did see that one. You know what? I might catch one of those tonight. Mr. Cruz, I wanted to thank you for coming by and talking to us about this. I think it's important to bring this to light for some of the people who, mostly for those who say that there's not a problem. And granted, this problem has been there year in and year out for who knows how many decades already. But the answer is not to just open the border and let everybody in, as they are finding out.
Nope.
Which is why she's telling people don't come. Now it's don't come. You know? I just don't know what the fix is. You know, yes, a quicker process, but you know, we don't have the manpower for that. You know, Department of Homeland Security.
But even if we do a quicker process, the only thing we're going to do is throw them back to their country a lot quicker. Because for asylum, that most of them do not meet the criteria to be able to get asylum into the United States. So the quicker process wouldn't be the problem. I mean, the solution here. Don't get me wrong. Who knows what the solution is? But we need to find out something. And if we would just put in place our prior administration's orders that we had with the arrangement we had with Mexico, that's a start there. Because, like I said, we're not allowing them into this country where they're going to get lost in the system and never report to the courts itself. So let's keep them in Mexico. Let them go through the process. Whether we give more American judges into Mexico so they can speed up that process in Mexico to find out what's going to happen to them, whether they come this way or they go back to their home country.
Yeah. You know, and I have an opinion on this one. Is I believe that if we could find out exactly the dollar amount that is being spent on, you know, payroll from the beginning of the process, the payroll for the Border Patrol, all the way across through housing, through everything that is going to cost, all the taxes, you know, for the next 10 years, let's just say millions, right? That I don't have the exact number. Well, that amount, you know, being able to say, invest that into another country, which we shouldn't, right? But invest that and say, hey, you know, build a system that's equal to this, and I'm willing to fund, but it's going to happen this way, and it's going to be my way, or this money's going nowhere. For example, on a better education or building better jobs in other countries where they won't be seeking, you know, the greatest country in the world. We're the greatest country in the world. Yes. Right. And that's where everybody wants to be. Definitely. But that's just in my opinion.
And it's, you know, it's some people don't like when people say that, oh, this is the greatest country on the planet. You know, but it really is. You know, everyone wants to come here for a reason. Yep. Everyone wants to come here.
Exactly.
Not just Mexico, from everywhere. China, Haiti, Africa, Nigeria, Russia. I mean, you name it. Everyone wants to come to the United States.
The land. Well, yeah, everybody hates the United States. Every country hates the United States, basically. But everybody wants to come over here.
Yeah, I know. I don't buy that either. You have those people. Oh, they you know. And then now we get into the Olympic athletes. You know, they want to represent the U.S. so they can win, so that they can burn their flag, the U.S. flag, on the podium.
Wow, that's hate. That's hate. Wow.
And this can go on and on and on for hours. But Mr. Cruz, I appreciate you coming on, talking about this topic. Don't know that we have any answers. Obviously, we don't have the magic answer. Otherwise, things would have been fixed already. But I think it's important to show what's going on day in and day out. Sometimes people need to see it, you know, for themselves on video or maybe in person, like you said. You know, maybe that is idea changing for someone to see it for themselves. And then even still, you know, what can you do about it? You can only vote and elect the politicians, you know, that have the best ideas or that you think will make a difference. But that's something that you have to do at the ballot box. So in the meantime, we'll keep having these conversations and keep showing the images and, you And who knows? Let's see where this will end up in the next few years during this administration.
Yep, and definitely, Mr. Raul, it's a pleasure to meet you and everything that you're doing. You know, I hope that one day there's a lot of light on this, because you're out there in the front lines, literally, you know, seeing what nobody else is seeing in the country. So I just hope that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And at some point in the future, we'll revisit this again, election time, or who knows? We will discuss this again. Maybe we'll have some other guests and just discuss it. It's been very interesting. I appreciate your time, sir, and I'll be in touch with you in the next day or so and to follow up. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Abel, stay here for a second.
All right.
Have a nice night, guys. Thank you.
Mr. Cruz, have a good night. I appreciate your time.
You too. Thank you, guys.
All righty. Well, that was interesting.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
For those that keep saying, yes, it happens all the time, it's been happening for years. And you're right, it has. But sometimes you see the images, the ones that get me are the kids crying, the little kids being dumped or dropped from the fence and all it's just horrible. Horrible that the families would let these kids go, or that these kids were taken away from the families and they're being used as pawns. You know, pretending to be somebody's kids so that certain people, strangers they don't even know, might get a chance to be, you know, to come into our country. And is there an easy fix? No, I know there's not. Of course not.
At this point, it's a lot tougher. Yeah, definitely.
So let's see. Chuck is about the current problem. Where has Kamala been? This is supposed to be her task. It is supposed to be her task. She was tasked with it. I don't even know what the title is. I don't know what her title is as far as the border relations, or you know, I know they won't call it a crisis, but she was given some kind of title. And normally, someone gives you a title in a new job. Well, guess what you do? You get on the ball, and then you get over there. You say, all right, let's figure out what's going on here. Let me get over there right away. Well, that didn't happen. She just
went get fired.
Yeah, and if you don't do that, if you take 90 days to make a move, anybody would get fired in any industry. They're out of here. So she waits, 90 days, over 90 days. And what is she supposed to do, Chuck? Hang on, let me get to these comments. Thank you, Mr. Cruz. You see it every day. Yes, I do appreciate his time. And I know it's not something, for us necessarily extraordinary, because yes, we know it does happen. She's going to bring more light to it. Shonda Reese, what is she going to do? Chase people and try to catch them herself? No, but she needs to see what realities are. She needed to be on that boat with Raul, watching these things go back and forth.
The differences between like Raul and the vice president is that she's an influence. Raul is an influence, of course, at a smaller level to many of us. But when you're looking at national, international, she's the first woman that's a vice president, the first colored woman that's a vice president. So her level of influence is not.
Yes, say African American. Don't say colored. That'll offend people.
Oh, I'm sorry. Anyways, she's a person of influence internationally. A person supposed to be. No, the title is there. She's there. She is a person of influence. If she says something, it's gonna be an influence. So. No, she doesn't even have to get on the boat with Mr. Raul. She just has to say, hey, man, I saw these videos. I see what's going on, and we need to address the issue. How do you address it? Come out on the microphone and say, address the issue.
Yeah. I don't know. I would say she's supposed to be a person of influence, someone well-respected, just from the title. Doesn't matter who it is. But, she's... let's see. Oops, this is a decades problem, and nobody sees that right now. It's even worse than with the pandemic. It just adds to the difficulty of it. Yeah, it does. Chuck Nelson, how about go see for her? Here we go. Go see for herself. Talk to the agents. Talk to the detainees. Talk to the border residents with the influx of people crossing to their properties and on their farms. Talk to the mayors, hospitals, charities trying to support it. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, that's the stuff she's supposed to do, or her people, or get more involved.
I mean, there's only two things that I can think about here. Either she's not informed, or she just straight up doesn't care about finding a solution. She just might not be informed. I don't want to weigh in, give her the benefit of the doubt. She just might not be informed, but because people are choosing to take the other side and just sit back and say, it's a racist thing.
Yeah, it's just a bad look when you're supposed to be the head of this situation and you don't even go out there and look. And then when you go, you don't even go where the real hotspots are. The real hotspot is the lower Rio Grande Valley. El Paso's got other issues. It does have issues, but there are other issues.
I mean, if you think about it, and you point out the whole caravan and the way they're rolling, they're trying to get to the southern border as fast as possible. This is the access. This is the closest access to the United States, the valley. It's the most southern point in the country where a border exists, I believe. So yes, El Paso might have the drug issues. People are storming to the valley because it's the fastest way to get here. If they can save, a day or two from walking, they're gonna do it. Just get to Brownsville, get to McAllen, to the lower end of Texas.
Yeah. So I wanted to switch gears. Chuck Nelson, please look at the issue and don't feel you have to defend Biden or Kamala or anyone else for that matter. This is an enormous issue for our country. It is. It's a burden. It's a huge burden. Sean, I'm loving the comb over puppers. I don't even know what that means.
That Facebook pic she has, that puppy.
Oh, yeah, okay. This is why I like the show. It's informing, and I get to learn about other people's point of view. I state my view, and people tell me I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot, Chuck.
No, Chuck, you're not. We didn't call you an idiot. Don't be an idiot. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, we didn't call you an idiot, Chuck. You know that. We're just trying to. Everybody's going to state their opinion, and we're going to hear. I'm not going to block anybody's opinion. You know that. El Paso had Fort Bliss also. They have the built-in security. Yeah, that's true too. It's a different situation over there. It's different. These rafts coming over and bundles. What you don't see is bundles coming over in a different area. Again, we just saying everything all over again. So we can go on a little bit more if you got some time. If you guys want to hang out still. Want to talk about COVID. The other day, I went to breakfast at IHOP, and so I've been traveling a lot, and a lot of states have dropped their restrictions on wearing the mask, and they've even removed plexiglass at how they got plexiglass dividing the booths and the tables. Well, a lot of that's starting to clear and disappear. Now there's even ketchup on the tables, salt and pepper shakers on the table. Yeah. And that was cool, right?
Get a taste. Yeah.
Texas opened up how many weeks ago? So I go to IHOP the other day. Plexiglass everywhere. Tables are bare. There's no salt and pepper shaker, no ketchup, no Cholula or whatever. And they bring these little packets. So you need ketchup? Okay, here's 2 little packets. You need salt and pepper? Okay, here's those little paper, those little. And I'm like, and plexiglass everywhere. I'm like, why haven't you gotten with the times and starts to. I don't know. I think this. Yeah, I know. I'm going to get hate mail for this. People just need to let it go. And I keep referring back to when Donald Trump, remember he was in the White House and he got COVID. And he was hospitalized for, I don't know, 2 or 3 days, 5 days, whatever it was. And he made a statement. And he came out and what did he say? He said, "Don't let this thing control your life." And I'll never ever forget that. And that's when I saw this in a whole different way, and I didn't let it control my life. And it's people are just wearing the mask. Yeah, I don't care if you want to wear a mask, fine, wear it. I don't care. I'm not gonna tease you about it or anything. I might tease you about it a little bit, but I don't mean it maliciously. But I think it's time to just I don't know. Okay, vaccinations are down. They're not. I don't know. They were trying to do over 1 million a day, or 2 million a day, or 2.5 million a day. So vaccinations are down, but infections are not up. Deaths are not up. Hospitalizations are not up. You can almost see light at the end of the tunnel, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, to my point at that part is, I had the same thoughts. But if you look at, statistically, that virus might have already taken the weaker ones that were going to be affected by it. At what cost? And that is a sad situation. It's good that, everybody now is good. We're good to open up, but there was a couple of people who passed, man. And
yeah.
So,
and obviously if somebody passes that's in your family or near to you, well, that's different. It feels, what is it, close to home, right? So it has a different feeling. And people, they tell me all the time, well, wait till somebody that you love passes, or it's like, it's not that I don't care. It's just that I don't think it's as horrible a thing as they're making it as they're making it out to be. Yes, people got sick. I think people with a compromised immune system or some kind of pre-existing condition are the ones that took the hit. And that's very possible. There are a lot of older people that passed. A lot of older people. A lot of people with pre-existing conditions that passed. They had cancer, they had diabetes, or they were, morbidly obese, whatever that may be. But I think, I'm not a doctor. You have to let your immune system work also a little bit. You can't shelter your immune system for 2 years and then go out and expect not to, expect your immune system to fight everything that comes upon. Kids are incredibly resilient. They're stronger than you think. That's why kids are not dropping dead left and right. Kids need to go back to school, socialize, face to face, and get that over with. I don't know. My opinion. Do you wear a mask when you go to the store, Abel? You go to HEB or you go to Walmart, do you wear your mask?
I stopped already. I mean, whenever it was optional, like to me, honestly, as long as I'm not face to face with somebody, I don't see why I would need a mask. Usually if I go shopping, I'm at HEB or something and I'm in an aisle where there's nobody coughing on me, so I'm fine. I like I've said for forever, it's those family reunions where everybody was getting sick.
Yeah, I go to Walmart and people look, I know they stare because I'm not wearing a mask, and everybody's still wearing a mask. I will goof on the person who drives alone in their car and they have their mask on. Yeah, I'm gonna goof on you. Yeah. I will, and it's ridiculous.
It is. I saw a guy at the bus stop all by himself, bro, with a mask on. Nobody else around with a mask on. That's just misinformation. Misinformation.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. At some point, you have to think for yourself. Question things, and if you're in good health, you should be okay.
Well, one story, bro. So, I haven't been sick for like a year and a half, and I told you, a few days ago, I was feeling under the weather bad, man. But now I look at it and we never hang out with anybody. We never do nothing, but we had a relative over and we're like, all right, let's chill, have a cookout. One of the relatives was sick. It wasn't COVID because he or she was vaccinated. So it was just like a flu or cold or something, right? Oh, they can still carry the virus though, but
Yeah.
So even that alone, it's something that I caught. That's how I felt. That's the only place where I could have gotten sick, because I haven't been in any other area besides that. That's why I know for a fact those family gatherings, and you see it in the newspaper, oh, they had a family gathering, all 10 people ended up sick, COVID. So that's what was killing him. It wasn't going to Whataburger and eating a burger.
Yeah.
It wasn't shopping at a Walmart.
But that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened often either. Oh well, somebody had a wedding, reception at their house, 50 people, and now you got 50 people dying of COVID.
Yeah.
And sick. You know what I mean?
Orange juice, bro. That's a key.
Oh, you want to fight? You want a strong immune system? Take vitamin C.
Yep.
Take 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams a day of vitamin C. Take some zinc. Gargle with Listerine. Gargle. Rinse out your mouth. Gargle at night, and when you get up in the morning, and you won't get sick. I promise. Don't rub your nose. Don't rub around your eyes. Yes, wash your hands. That good. A lot of good came out of that. Wash your hands a lot. That's for sure. That's something I've picked up more. Washing my hands. But gargle with Listerine, Cepacol, that kind of thing at night. When you feel a sore throat coming on, you know how you can start to feel like, oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Gargle with Cepacol. Do it a couple times during the day, a few hours apart. That'll kill the germs. You won't get sick. I promise.
Yeah, I got better. I'm sorry. I got better yesterday just by being out in the sun sweating. I am sunburned, bro, like a lobster.
That'll help. That'll help. Sunlight helps too. So, try that if you don't want to get sick. You can take 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I mean, it'll make you pee or whatever your little side effect is from vitamin C, but it's not going to hurt you. It's really not going to hurt you. So try that. Very true, Nadia. About Chuck, yes, absolutely. I lost 2 people to COVID. I didn't lose many more. Sorry to hear that. It always sucks to lose people, and regardless of what it is, whether it's COVID or cancer or a car accident, whatever. It sucks. Chuck, your opinions make me laugh and think. We all think differently, but some stuff really makes you think. You're not an idiot. You just have thicker skin and a passion. Keep it coming. 100% agree. Well said. Lorena and Manny Almendariz, hello, welcome. Unfortunately, many people like being controlled and doing what the mass media tells them to do. The worst part is they start harassing everyone that doesn't follow what CBS and Telemundo tells them to do. The sheep do not want to leave independent thinkers and doers live our lives in peace. I get you. That's why, some of my Manny's merch.com merchandise is Don't Be a Mask. Do I have the Don't Be a Mask hole shirt up there? Is it still up there? I thought I had it.
I know it was, but I don't know if it still is. But
maybe I took it down. I should put it back up. My big thing is don't be a mask hole, right? In either direction. If you want to wear it, then let somebody wear it. Don't goof on them because they want to wear it. And if they don't want to wear it, don't goof on them because they don't want to wear it.
Like to this point here, definitely, right? The sheep, they call them the sheep. So already, they already feel offended because they're being called sheep. Right, but I understand what they mean. So they're being driven by the mass media. Yeah, you'll never see the mass media teaching people how to write a resume. They won't teach you none of that. They'll teach fear. They control through fear, and that's their way of controlling.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to die? No, then you better wear your mask.
It'll be like tonight at 10:30 with Manny behind the mic. If you don't watch, you might pass away. But we'll tell you how to stay alive around midnight when we tell you to take 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C, but we're not doctors. It's BS.
There's a phrase, and it applies to a lot of things, and I've said it throughout my life. When I first heard it, when I was in my later teens, almost an adult. The fear of loss is a greater motivator than the opportunity to gain. You're more afraid of losing something than you are more excited about winning something.
Yep.
Fear of loss is a greater motivator than the opportunity to gain.
And in this case, you're seeing it from respected people on TV, you know. So how does that affect the public? It greatly affects the public. Big time.
Yep. Chuck, Betty, my wife and daughter are there, and my daughter will be there all summer, like every year for the past 12 years. My in-laws have never had an issue. That's awesome. That's good. I hope it stays that way. Shauna, believe it or not, New York State did this study. I'm as shocked as you. It was New York, but the study showed that details from their contact tracing showed less than 2% of COVID infections came from a restaurant or bar prior to them shutting them all down, or after partially reopening. So nothing came from a bar. You know where else they don't come from? You know where else you don't get infected? On an airplane. You know, I started flying airplanes again right after, in the middle of this pandemic. I had to work. It's my job. I've been on airplanes every week for the last few years. Yeah, you have to wear your mask, and everybody wears their mask. Some people sneak and don't wear it, or you have to take it off when you eat, right? You have to. But guess what? No mass infections, no 138 people on an airplane all infected because somebody was sick. You haven't heard any of that. You haven't heard of anybody dying on an airplane because they got COVID on an airplane or at an airport even. Not even at an airport. You know? And what does that tell you? And I hope this mask mandate at the airport gets lifted. And I mean, do you want to wear it still? Fine. You can still wear it. You know that. But they're not going to mandate it. And he's trying to, I forget who the senator was. I know Dan Crenshaw is behind it. He's trying to help it. He's trying to get the mandate lifted so that you don't have to wear it at the airport, you know, on a train or bus or airplane, that kind of thing.
Like transport and transportation.
Yep. And they're trying to get that mandate squashed as of July the 4th, next week. So we'll see what happens. It would be nice. As of right now, the mandate exists through, I think, September. So if it doesn't happen, we'll have through September, and then they'll decide, the FAA and the CDC will decide if they want to extend it or what they want to do. It sucks to travel, to be at an airport. If you got a long 14-hour days of travel or 12 hours or even 8 hours, you got to have the mask on for the moment you walk into the airport to the minute you walk out of the airport at your final destination.
That's tough.
Oh, it sucks. Elderberry is the best way to get vitamin C.
I've heard a lot of great things about elderberries.
Yeah, my sister takes that. I don't know. I like oranges too, but it's a lot of sugar. Elderberry. You got to check that out more often. I think we just need to be more cautious health-wise from now on. I do wear a mask because I work with the kids. I tend to get sick easier than others. But in my car or outside, I take it off. Yeah, as soon as I get outside, if I do wear it inside somewhere, that sucker comes off quick. Yes, I see. I apologize for calling these people sheep. That's all right. You didn't mean it in a nasty, bad way.
Like white, pretty little sheep. Just
yeah. It's cool. No worries. We try to keep this a snowflake-free zone. So,
yeah,
you know, we got pretty thick skin here, and hopefully you do have some. We don't like calling names or that kind of thing. And we do goof on you a little bit. It might be a little bit, but by the way, we'll keep those motivational posts of yours coming. I find them motivating. Yeah, actually, that's good. Look at the flight. The man who died of COVID mid-flight was on. Yeah, one guy. He knew he was positive. Yeah, that dude knew he was positive. His wife, too.
Dang.
They were both positive, and they knew it. And not one other person on that flight got sick. And there were people giving him CPR.
Dang.
You know, and they're pumping his his chest, right? So air is coming out of his mouth into that enclosed airplane. And nobody got sick. Nobody else died. Just he died. He had a heart attack, I think. And his wife didn't even die.
So he basically had the heart disease.
Yeah, he had some issue happening, and did COVID, make it worse? Maybe it's possible, but that's what I'm saying. I think people, and overall, people have. At least I'd like to think people have developed better habits. Like I said, washing their hands more. Trying to stay away from. You wear a mask. I definitely want to wear a mask, or I do this. If somebody sneezes nearby me or coughs real hard, like a loud, nasty, wet cough, I'm doing this, or I have my mask on. Because, that now I don't want to breathe that stuff in. That stuff lingers in the air for who knows how many minutes.
Right.
A good way to see what happens with those droplets of people when they spit or they cough, look at the movie Outbreak.
Outbreak.
Watch the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman. Kevin Spacey, Rene Russo, Cuba Gooding Jr. It's got a good cast. And there's a scene, the guy gets sick and comes off a flight and he's infected. He feels like he's got the flu. And they're at a movie theater. They go to the movie. He goes to the movie with his girlfriend. Everybody's watching a movie. He's coughing and he's coughing. People are laughing, and they show those little wet, what do you call it? The droplets just floating in the air. Everybody's laughing, ha, ha, ha. And you're showing droplets kind of drop everywhere. And that's really scary. And that's a good way to see what happens when somebody coughs, whether they're sick or not. A cough could be an innocent cough, but if somebody coughs, definitely do one of these numbers. And if you're coughing, please cough into your shirt, or if you're going to wear a mask, keep it on when you cough. Don't take it off to cough. I'm talking too much. COVID had a lot of people with vitamin D issues too. I take melatonin, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, and wear my mask and work with kids, and it helps, and I'm healthier too. Sleep is important also.
Yeah.
The whole lifestyle change. I wear a mask even though I'm vaccinated because I don't want people to freak out on me for not wearing it. Hey, that's cool with you. I don't care if people laugh at because I'm not wearing my mask. I don't care if they're freaked out.
Pre-COVID, like people like in China, they would wear a mask when they were sick. They did the respectful thing. Obviously not this time around, right? But they would do that kind of stuff. Like you'll see a Chinese person here or Asian.
Oh yeah,
and they'll wear a mask. And it was not because of COVID, but if they have a little flu, a little cold, they'll wear it so they don't spread it. If the public here had the same, what would you call that, morale, that would be great. Yeah. Consideration. Yeah.
And I've been in the airports traveling for 10 or 11 years. And even back then, I've seen Asian, Chinese people and Japanese always had a mask on. Wherever they're traveling, they've been wearing masks like that for travel. I don't know if it's just for travel or what, but they've been wearing masks for a long time. He was symptomatic pre-flight. Yeah, he was visibly sick. I just smiled at him and wished him a pleasant day. That was a good movie, unintentionally educational. You're right. Check it out. Outbreak. I think you can watch it on Netflix or Prime or something right now. Very interesting. Good movie. Chuck, a friend gave me an elderberry with vodka mixed for a sore throat, and that stuff works great. Now I also use the gummies during cold and flu season. I use Emergency a lot. Emergency, those packets you put in your water, drink it. Good stuff. Hey man, did you listen to it? Yes, I did. Oh man, I want to take one of these days, maybe this weekend, we'll get into that podcast. I'll play that. Interesting. A podcast about the McAfee dude. I think it's worth the play. It's a good thing sleepiness isn't a health. It isn't a death sentence. I'd be long gone. Yeah, right. All right. I think we're going to call it a night. I was just notified that I don't have to be at work in the morning.
Wow. So we're going to call it a night because he just got notified. Let's do it.
Unless you want to come back and do a show.
Oh, man. No.
Oh, you're still under the weather a little bit. You need to sleep.
No, I'm good. But yeah, 12:30. I'm good.
Yeah, it's late. Tomorrow, well, I got some requests for tomorrow to do some stuff tomorrow night. If you're up for it, I'll let you know what's going on tomorrow, people. Thank you for all hanging out with us. Those a few of you that are left. And I think we're done.
Good night.
12:30. Have a great Friday night. Get some rest, everybody. Have a good weekend. And we'll probably see you tomorrow night. Have a good night. Like Bam would say, one planet, one people. That's what he says, right? One planet, one people.
One planet, one people, yeah.
Good night. Glad I caught you. It's been nuts around here, so I missed a bunch of shows. This was a great one. Oh, cool. Yeah, it was fun. In case I missed it and I didn't put the banner up, please give my page a like if you haven't done so already. If you can recommend the show to anyone, please do so. Have them like our page. Facebook.com/Manny Behind the Mic. Same thing on YouTube, youtube.com/Manny Behind the Mic. Give us a little subscribe there. That'd be great. We got merch, mannysmerch.com. Cool t-shirts, hats, caps, pajamas, socks, coffee mugs, backpacks, lunch bags, phone cases for Apple only right now. A lot of cool stuff on there. Check it out. And any financial donations, Cash App, $Manny Behind the Mic. Always appreciated. Take care of these little expenses we've got monthly associated with the show. Thank you all. Have a great night. Abel, have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.